Just say when we start. Good morning, and welcome to the 2021 Spring Commencement Exercises for the College of Arts, Education, and Sciences. I am Dr. Jeffrey Anderson, Associate Director of the School of Humanities, and your announcer for this morning's ceremony. Commencement is a joyful yet solemn culmination and recognition of the graduates' years of study. It is a meaningful occasion to the university and its faculty, staff, and students. In keeping with the solemnity of this time-honored tradition, all guests and participants are asked to avoid unnecessary conversation and moving about during the ceremony. Please refrain from making any noise other than that of applause as the graduates receive their degrees. We also request that you turn off or silence all cell phones. Due to COVID-19 restrictions and for everyone's safety, certain aspects of today's ceremony will be different than in the past. Graduates have been seated prior to the ceremony instead of the customary procession, and faculty are not in attendance, in order to allow more guests to be present. Despite these limitations, however, we are delighted that we are able to come together today to celebrate this important occasion. At this time, please rise and join the ULM Commencement Brass Ensemble in this recorded performance of the Star-Spangled Banner.
Good morning. I am Dr. Alberto Ruiz, Vice President for Academic Affairs. Before we start, please join me in thanking the ULM Commencement Brass Ensemble, the ULM Commencement Committee, the Physical Plant, the ULM Computing Center, and the Office of Marketing and Communications for their contributions to today's ceremony. Round of applause, please. President Berry, Dr. Pratt, Dr. Davis, graduating students, families, and friends and supporters of the University of Louisiana Monroe, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome each of you here today. Seated before us is the spring class of 2021. We are gathered not only to honor their achievements, but also to thank the educational process that made those achievements possible. Getting to this point relied on the help and support from various groups of people. Because of COVID restrictions, one of those groups is not able to be here in person. Although they are watching the live stream of it, please join me in thanking all of the faculty and staff who work with these students to make today possible. Fortunately, members of another group that made today possible are here in person. We are honored to have the parents, spouses, and family friends who have encouraged and in many instances sacrificed to make this day a reality. We would like to acknowledge this very important group by asking the families of the spring class of 2021 to stand at this time. Please stand. If you're a family member, please stand. Graduates, please join me in thanking these individuals for their contribution. And I would like to thank the families, the parents, the spouses, the children for their support to make this day possible. What a great day to be a Warhawk. An awesome day to be a Warhawk. At this point in time, I will now call Dr. John Pratt, Dean of the College of Arts, Education, and Sciences, to present today's graduates and introduce today's speaker.
If you'll pardon me. Possibly the most heard phrase over the past year has been, "This is not a normal year." From a global pandemic that has caused millions of deaths to date, multiple tornadoes, 2 hurricanes that pounded the region, and an ice storm of epic proportions, the past year has seen numerous challenges to continuing your educational experiences. We can all agree that your experiences have been unique. But it is worth noting that the past year has likely provided you with the advantages over previous graduates. If you ask a metalsmith how you make the best type of sword or knife, they will tell you about plunging the white-hot metal into an ice bath in order to harden it. But they will also tell you that while this makes the blade stronger, it also makes it incredibly brittle. In order to make a blade that is both strong and flexible, you have to take the blade out of the water and stick it in a kiln at high temperature for an extended period of time in order to temper it, to reduce its hardness a little bit in order to provide it and make it flexible and strong. Last March, you were all plunged into an icy bath as entire society went into lockdown. But after coming out of lockdown, unlike last year's graduates, you had to come back, and you had to come back to adverse conditions in order to complete your degree. You've had to be more flexible, be more innovative, to be more self-driven than previous generations of students. In the end, I think you're going to find that you have been given a great advantage over all the previous graduates of ULM. Of course, for some of you, this is not the first time into the ice bath or into the kiln. I was reminded of this last month when, while talking with one of you, the student pointed out that he had started his collegiate career over a decade ago. Life stepped in back then and gave him an enormous challenge that caused him to leave for a period of time. Family and friends constantly told him to go back, that he really needed to get a degree, but life continued to intercede and throw more challenges at him. Finally, several years ago, he decided, oh, you know what, I'm going to come back, I'm going to give it a try. But in doing so, he didn't tell everybody because he was afraid that if he wasn't able to succeed, it would be seen as another failure. But after pushing through at possibly the worst time over the last year, he was able to do it, to walk across the stage to be recognized for his accomplishment, even though he did have to create a bit of a fiction in order to get some of his family here today. So, with that said, Mrs. Nanette McRae, just so you know, your son Anthony is not here to give a talk to graduating seniors. He's actually here to get his degree. No more lies. When the leadership team for the college was given the task of finding a speaker for today's commencement, only one name was mentioned, and immediately everybody said, No, that's the person. Dr. Eric Davis is currently the principal at Carroll High School, where he's doing an outstanding job. Before moving into that role, he served for 3 years as the principal of Wasserman High School, during which time he led the high school from a failing grade on the Louisiana Performance Test to a B. In recognition of his amazing accomplishment and all of his other work, he was named the Louisiana Principal of the Year in 2019. But Dr. Davis is more than just one of the successful ULM graduates. He does have a master's from us, that are out there making a difference in society. He's also helping us to educate more success stories in the future as he serves as an adjunct faculty member in our graduate program, sharing his knowledge and his insights with others who are going to go about educating our youth. For that, we are very grateful in the college. On a personal note, Dr. Davis is married to the former Jan Moore and is the father of 3 children. Somehow, even though he is a principal and a teacher and a father and a husband, he also finds time to serve as a pastor for the Greater Realness Cathedral. So please join me in making a warm welcome for today's speaker, Dr. Eric Davis.
A man found a cocoon of a butterfly. One day a small opening appeared. He sat and watched the butterfly for several hours as it struggled to squeeze its body through the tiny hole. Then it stopped, as if it couldn't go further. So the man decided to help the butterfly. He took a pair of scissors and snipped off the remaining bits of the cocoon. The butterfly emerged easily, but it had a swollen body and shriveled wings. The man continued to watch it, expecting that any minute the wings would enlarge and expand enough to support the body. Neither happened. In fact, the butterfly spent the rest of its life crawling around, and it was never able to fly. What the man in his kindness and haste did not understand, the restricting cocoon and the struggle required by the butterfly to get through the opening was a way of forcing the fluid from the body into the wings so they could be ready for flight once that was achieved. Sometimes struggles are exactly what we need in our lives. Going through life with no obstacles would cripple us. We would not be as strong as we could have been, and we would never fly. To the administration, faculty, staff, and teachers of the University of Louisiana Monroe, thank you for this opportunity to be your commencement speaker. To the graduating class of 2021, congratulations on this momentous milestone in your lives. You should be proud to be able to celebrate your accomplishments as evidence of the hard work you have put in for your degree. It is obvious by today that there was some intrinsic motivation embedded on the inside of you that motivated and pushed you to the finish line, but the question now is, what's next? Many times we are preparing to end a chapter of our lives, but don't consider what may be coming down the road. If you have mapped out what's next, then kudos to you. If you have only considered about what's next, then there are some things that you need catching up to do in a hurry. When I was receiving my first degree, I fell into the category of considering what was next. I had not yet mapped it out. I wanted to be in corporate America in some capacity, and that was it. I envisioned myself in a suit and tie and making a lot of money and living a good life. However, I was offered 2 opportunities that could have drastically altered my life. One was a position that would eventually put me in a good position in corporate America, and the other was law school at one of the best law schools in Alabama. I turned them down both and returned back home to Monroe. But for what? There was not one thing that I could name that would draw me back home that was better than what was offered. In the end, although I didn't have it all mapped out, God knew exactly the plan He had for me. He knew that coming back, I would dedicate my life to Him. that I would marry my wife. He knew about my children. He knew that my call would be to education, which was not on my radar. So if you don't have it all figured out, I would suggest that you allow the Lord to guide your steps. Some of you entering college may have come straight out of high school. Some started school, stopped, and came back. And others may have started in the workforce, while others decided to step out in faith and get it done. Whatever the case, you don't have to tell me about the challenges you have faced, but the grit and the fortitude you have displayed in being determined to better yourselves and those around you is a testament to how special each of you are. There are many who wish that they can be in your shoes at this moment, but it really does take a special individual to graduate at the highest level, and for that you should be proud. There are a few things that you should remember going forward. Anything that is worth having, work has to be put in to achieve it. Never feel that you're entitled to anything. Earn everything that you get moving forward. Let no one diminish what you have accomplished this day. Today, receiving your credentials is just the beginning of a fruitful life that lies ahead. Never be afraid to be different. Never stop dreaming. Never sell yourself short and believe that you are not enough. Surround yourselves with positive people and positive energy. Keep your circle small with individuals who are ready to support and believe in your worth. Always remember that everyone is not genuinely happy for you. So that is why it's important to cheer your own self on and become your biggest fan. I have discovered that the only thing you can deter you from being what you want to be is you. So choose to be great. Be willing to challenge yourselves. None of you knew this journey would be like this, so the unknown was right before your eyes. For the simple fact that you have overcome many obstacles that may have not been discussed with others proves that the right mindset, any and everything is possible. Always remember the people who have made it possible for you to get to this moment. If you are a recipient of second chances, don't forget, and the most important thing is to never forget where you come from. I came from a high-crime area, drug-infested family, and had all the reason to become a victim of my circumstances. But there were some individuals who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. There was a neighborhood drug dealer that prevented me from going to prison. There was a dorm manager that prevented me from getting kicked out of school. There was a coach who gave me a chance. And maybe you didn't have these experiences, but there could have been a grandparent or a family member, a teacher, or one of your professors that was kind enough and provided opportunities when no one else would, that has played a role in your development now and with your achievements. Never forget those who made a way for you to be successful. I coached at one time in high school, football and basketball, and we constantly preached about paying close attention to details, being detailed in their film study, detailed in practice, and detailed in the execution of the game plan. When attention to detail is followed, more times than not, the team wins the game. When you first enrolled as a student, there was a degree plan formulated for you. As a student, you were fully aware of the requirements that it took to graduate. It is obvious that you as graduates followed the plan that had been detailed for you. With film study, you were able to scout out any obstacles that you could have faced and prepared yourselves to overcome. You were detailed in practice because you had to sacrifice time and energy and apply those to studying and preparation, and you executed the game plan by taking what was watched and practiced to pass the necessary exams to pass the coursework. So in the end, you have won the game, and now it's on to the next opponent. Be willing to embrace the next phase of your life. You have worked hard to be put in the position that you are in now. Whatever you do, take the time to appreciate the knowledge you have gained and be ready to apply it. Practice professionalism at all times. Master the art of being kind and loving people. Actress Kerry Washington says, your life is your story, and the adventure ahead of you is the journey to fulfill your own purpose and potential. As I close, reflect on this milestone in your lives and cherish the moment. Some of you may continue on to other academic endeavors. Some of you may venture directly into your career of choice. But whatever the case, do what makes you happy. Pursue things that matter to you. Live your lives on your own terms, and remember that time is the most valuable resource we have. Because once it has passed, we can never get it back, so make the time count and meaningful. I end with Forrest Gump's entrance exam. Forrest Gump dies and goes to heaven, where he is met at the pearly gates by St. Peter himself. The gates are closed. However, Forrest approaches the gatekeeper. St. Peter says, "Well, Forrest, it's certainly good to see you. We've heard so many good things about you. I must inform you, though, the place is filling up fast, and we've been giving an entrance exam to everyone. The quiz is short, but you need to pass it before you can get into heaven." Forrest responds, "It sure is good to be here, Peter. I was looking forward to this, but nobody ever told me about any entrance exam. Sure, I hope the test ain't too hard. Life was big enough test as it was." St. Peter goes on, "I know, Forrest, but the test is only 3 questions, and you can have the night to think about it, so here it is. Question number 1, what days of the week begin with the letter T? Question number 2, how many seconds are there in a year? And the last question, what is God's first name?" Forrest goes away to think the questions over. He returns the next day and goes up to St. Peter to try to answer all 3 questions. St. Peter waves him up and says, "Now that you've had a chance to think the questions over, tell me your answers." Forrest says, "Well, the first one, how many days of the week begin with the letter T? Oh, shucks, that's the easy one. That'll be today and tomorrow." The saint's eyes open wide and he exclaims, "Forrest, that's not what I was thinking. But you do have a point though, and I guess I didn't specify, so I'll give you credit for that answer. How about the next one? How many seconds is in a year?" Now that was hard, says Forrest, but I thought about it, and I guess the only answer can be 12. Astounded, St. Peter says, 12? How in heaven's name could you come up with 12 seconds in a year?" Forrest says, "Oh, come on, Peter. That's got to be 12. January the 2nd, February the 2nd, March 2nd. You get the point." "Hold it," interrupts St. Peter. "I see where you're going. I guess I see your point, but that wasn't what I had in mind. But I give you credit for that one too. Now let's go on to the final question. Can you tell me God's first name?" Forrest quickly replied, "It's Andy." Again, St. Peter asked, "How in the world did you come up with Andy?" Forrest smiled and said, "You know, St. Peter, from the song we all sing in church. And he walks with me, and he talks with me." The moral story is there's always another point of view. Just because a person does not see or understand things the same way you do does not mean that they are wrong. They are entitled to their own point of view, and it should be considered as important as any other. That's my point of view. Do you agree? Congratulations, class of 2021.
Thank you for that excellent speech. And as a token of our appreciation, Dr. Davis, if you come back, we'd like to give you a small gift. Thank you. Well, we're getting close to that time. Before we do, there are a group of students that we need to recognize. Some of you have done an incredible job over your journey as undergraduates, and we need to recognize that. Students who have maintained a 3.5 to 3.749 grade point average during their university careers are graduating cum laude. Will these students please stand and be recognized? Please be seated. Students who maintained a 3.75 to 3.899 grade point average during their university careers are graduating magna cum laude designation. Will these candidates please stand and be recognized? Thank you. The last group, students who maintained a 3.90 to a 4.00 grade point average during their university careers, are graduating summa cum laude. Would these candidates please stand and be recognized? And now for the time you've been waiting. I would like to call forth Dr. Alberto Ruiz, Vice President of Academic Affairs, and President Ron Berry to confer today's degrees.
Will the candidates for the associate degree please stand? If you're getting your associate degree, please stand today. Thank you. President Berry, on behalf of the undergraduate deans and faculty, it is my pleasure to introduce to you these successful candidates for the associate degree.
I have to admit, as president, this is the coolest part of my job. By the authority vested in me by the University of Louisiana System Board of Supervisors, it is my pleasure to confer upon you the associate degree. Congratulations. You may be seated.
Will the candidates for the bachelor's degree please stand? President Berry, on behalf of the undergraduate deans and faculty, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the successful candidates for the bachelor's degree.
By the authority vested in me by the University of Louisiana System Board of Supervisors, it is my pleasure to confer upon you the bachelor's degree. Congratulations. You may be seated.
Will the candidates for the master's degree please stand? President Berry, on behalf of the graduate faculty, it is my pleasure to introduce to you these successful candidates for the master's degree.
By the authority vested in me by the University of Louisiana System Board of Supervisors, it is my pleasure to confer upon you the master's degree. Congratulations. You may be seated.
Will the candidates for the doctoral degree please stand? President Berry, on behalf of the graduate faculty, it is my pleasure to introduce to you these successful candidates for the doctoral degree.
By the authority vested in me by the University of Louisiana System Board of Supervisors, it is my pleasure to confer upon you the doctoral degree. Congratulations. You may be seated. In accordance with academic tradition, please move your tassels from the right to the left to indicate your new status as ULM graduates. Graduates, please come forward to receive your degrees.
The highest academic honor that can be earned and awarded is the doctoral degree. This mark of achievement reaches its apex during the hooding ceremony, which represents the passing of the mantle of knowledge, marking the transition from student to colleague. This pinnacle in an academic career could not occur without the guidance of a mentor. Therefore, it is appropriate that the doctoral graduate be joined by the major professor. We ask that the doctoral graduate and major professor please step forward as I call the graduate's name, to be aided by Dr. Sushma Krishnamurthy, Dean of the Graduate School with the hoodie. Christopher Babb, who is joined by his major professor, Dr. Kyo Kim. Julie Bridges, who is joined by her major professor, Dr. Kyo Kim. Erin Kizar, who is joined by her major professor, Dr. Shalanda Stanley. Denise Moultrie, who is joined by her major professor, Dr. Kyo Kim. Michael Rimillard, who is joined by Dr. Kyo Kim, standing in for his major professor, Dr. Ava Pugh. Serving one's country to protect its shores and freedoms has always been recognized as a sacrifice worthy of respect and admiration. Today, we recognize those graduates who have completed their ROTC training along with their degree program and are ready to become commissioned officers in our armed forces. At this time, I would ask Lieutenant Colonel Mason Moore, Professor of Military Science, to come forward to deliver the oath of office.
Please raise your right hand. Say aye, state your name, and repeat after me.
I, Kaylin Gruber,
Having been appointed an officer in the United States Army in the rank of second lieutenant, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any hesitation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter. So help me God. Cool. Lieutenant Gruber, come back up. President Barry, the commissionee has completed all of the requirements necessary to become a second lieutenant in the United States Army. I present her to you and to her graduating class and request that you present her with her commissioning certificate.
In accordance with the recommendation of the Professor of Military Science, I congratulate you on your accomplishments, and I am pleased to present your commissioning certificate. Thank you.
We will now continue with the graduates from the College of Arts, Education, and Sciences. The marshals will bring you forward by rows. As I call your name, please proceed across the stage to accept your degree. We will start with students receiving the master's degree. Charmel Peterson. Chelsea Schilling. Donna Walters. Gray Hall. Caitlin Struth. Brittany Hill. Dovey Milstead. Cartagena Vallejo. Kevin Dudley. Angel Ronsonet. Matthew Gibson. Angela Williams. Nikori Gordon. Jamie Fontenot. Delane Fusilier Bayon. Shelby DuBose. Courtney Harness. Tiffany Taylor. Latifa Granville. Sarah Williams. Kayla Wolf. Brittany Edmonston. Claire Truard. Mabel Castleberry. Mason Hussman. Ann Hancock. Jalen Harrison. Hillary May. Jana Word. Nimble Giri. Melissa Block. Rachel Hadaway. Anna King. Crescinda Broussard. Anna Cardin. Brandy Minard. Beatrice Lewis. Frida Taylor. Cassidy Tackett. Amosha Heckert. Erica Swan. Dominique Hayes. Unique Carter. Receiving the bachelor's degree, Jessica Wright. Ronald Patrick Camp. Richard Norris. Asukwo Efratui. Joshua Nicholas. Erie Olonade. Philip Pham. Darian Holland. Reagan Smith. Savannah Sage Doty. Julie Rogers. Jeanette Robinson. Amanda Blanco. Michael McClendon Sharp. Hannah Briggs. Tiffany Dunn. Kelsey Sexton. Amanda Bryans. Maya Marshall. Alexa Crane. Abigail McHugh. Kristen McDougald. Haley Poole. Zariah Neal. Madeline Skipper. Chelsea Terrell. Courtney Nelson. Taj Alston. James Bolin. Thomas Johnston. Hope Trahern. Wesley Cirillo. Dallin Lewis. Azaria Revels. Anthony Lane. Caitlin Gruber. Catherine Farabin. Cameron Crump. Madeline Arender. Madeline Johnson. Danielle Long. Sabrina Mata. Ian Lee. Joseph Tassin. Aiden Kirkham. Caleb Miller. Anthony McCrae. Jessica Lane. Rachel Wall. Bailey Ray. Kylie Daigle. Destinique Fulgence. Sydney Glass. Khalid Woodridge. Keith Miles. Bailey Seymour. Mindy Hare. Ivan Alvarez. Jaden Lee. Lauren Wynn. Lauren Weeks. Kane Terrio. Reagan Abadi. Elizabeth Long. Selena Sinisone. Cade Hunter. Riley Cooper. Sydney Curtis. Anna Antley. Kristen Armstrong. Taylor Riggin. Skylar Butler. Megan Middlebrook. Christy Malang Greer. Amber Dawson. Anastasia Goldman. Nathaniel Perdue. Zachary Wiggins. Ganga Tandakar. Jamuna Tandakar. Grace Daniels. Rebecca Gregory. Lauren O'Neill. Caitlin Manis. Skylar Orozco. Paige Hertzler. Chloe Howard. Jacob Campbell. Reagan Wilson. Isabel Lewis. Janelle Higginbotham. Cindy Ho. Ethan Cranford. Katie Taylor. April Messina. Clara Johnson Wyatt. Mallory Ward. Ronnie Malvo. Kelsey Falkenberry. Michaela Hudson. Pramod Korala. Christian Romero. Alexis Howard. Taylor Dorr. Amber Oswald. Sarah Phillips. Brianna Winfrey. Leah Huber. Raven Smith. Ethan Dennis. Sins Operario. Linda Ratliff. Joseph Capo. Zachary Kilpatrick. Claire Robertson. Tia Smith. Jenna Bonner. Ivan White. Kilos Swinney. Donovan Hickman. Hunter Smith. Jared Nemeth Gutierrez. Gregory Mello. Joseph Parton. Lillian Frazier. Tatiana Estiva Ingram. And Atricia Dokes. With a 4.0 GPA, Andrew Geis. Christina Elahi. Anish Subadai. Diwash Pandi. Congratulations to our new graduates, and thank you to our guests for your attendance today. Please do your best to maintain social distancing while safely exiting the Coliseum. Spring 2021 commencement exercises for the College of Arts, Education, and Sciences are now concluded.